All right, everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Man, we're back. We're trying to go daily this month. It's kind of worked out. It just depends. Like some of the days, I like to post videos when I got something passionate to yap about. We got a good one tonight. It's going to be all about Marcus Rashford, who came out and basically said he's ready for a new challenge in his career, which is, I mean, this is a crazy story. Rashford is such an interesting player over the years. He's a guy that for sure his transfer value is a lot lower now than it was. We'll go through and look at all that. But first of all, get in the comments, man. Initial reactions. What do you guys think of this? You know, I'm thinking about where do I think Rashford would go in the world right now? I mean, for a while there was a lot of little rumors with PSG. I don't see him staying in England. Basically, if you guys haven't seen what he has said, he said, for me personally, I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. I just don't see Rashford staying in England. It sounds to me like he's going to go somewhere else, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a team in England that he's ready to go to. This situation is interesting because Rashford has had his fair bit of critics over the years, even from the game. Recently, man, there was a lot of people filming where there was just scenarios where he's walking around like he doesn't care, which is concerning. There's moments where he's on. I'll tell you, Rashford, in terms of me watching football over the years, is 100% one of the most inconsistent players I have ever seen. When he is on, he is incredible. He's so good. And when he's off, you can see the lack of confidence. Now, one thing that isn't beneficial to Rashford, I'm going to tell you this, is the system he's in. The club, United, has been so up and down, I mean, game by game. We see, what was the team they lost to away last year? Was that, I can't even remember what team they got smoked away, like 4-0, and then they'll go ahead and beat City in an FA Cup final. It's the same thing with these guys. They'll draw some meaningless game, and then they'll go and beat City. So this team is not, it's a huge challenge to play for this team currently as well. A lot of managerial changes over the years. I mean, I don't even know how the stats on how many managers Rashford has had since he's been there. So the challenge makes sense. I think he's about 26 years old. Rashford, one of those guys that super hyped up English players earlier on in his career, actually wasn't one of those English players that didn't do anything and is just hyped up for no reason. He did deliver statistically at some seasons. National team kind of falling out there with the selection. We didn't get to see him in the recent competition, and he really wasn't a huge part of that. But we're going to talk about this. Now, Amorim, the new manager, first of all, before we get into that, he says, when I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Man United. That's me. I'll always be a Red. Respect. We have seen, and I'm not going to name names, a lot of people leaving this club, starting to, talk a lot of crap. I'll say this. Some players really just hold the club accountable. They just say, look, this needs to change. This is not good enough. So, it depends on that. But respect to Rashford for that. Obviously, it's the club he grew up in. It's not surprising, right? It's not surprising, but it makes sense too. Like at his age in his career, it makes sense that he would want a new challenge. He's been there for a while. Maybe he's feeling like he's not going to really be able to do much there anymore. So I don't know. Now the funny part was, Amorim had two really funny comments in response because obviously he's been getting asked, and he essentially says, if this was me, probably I would speak with the manager. Which, look, I'm assuming based on this quote, Rashford just went right to somebody and said, look, I'm ready for a new challenge. Went, instead of speaking with the manager, talking about it. And my favorite quote from Amorim, I've picked this one out for you guys, and I'm going to read this quote to you, right? So basically, Amorim was asked, what do you think about Rashford saying he needs a new challenge? And Amorim said, he is right. We have here a new challenge, the biggest in football. We are in a difficult situation. I hope all of my players are ready. So that's what he said in response to being asked what Rashford, when Rashford was saying he wants a new challenge, Amorim was saying, hey, man, the challenge is right here. Bring us back to glory. And I think in a way he's right. I think Rashford is maybe saying he's mentally ready for a new club, a new, endeavor. But I think Amorim's like, look, we're mid-table, man. We're Man United. Like, I've come here from Sporting. My team was on fire. I've come here to get paid and bring us back up to glory. And you're saying you're out. The challenge is now. So, that was a bit interesting. Let's take a look at Rashford, man. Over the years, he has played in 287 Premier League matches. He has 87 goals, almost 20,000 minutes, 40 assists. Europa League, he's got a solid return. Champions League, he's got a solid return. I mean, for the career, 143 goals, 63 assists, 440 matches. He's played a lot of games already, a lot of game time already. You can see, I would say the distribution is pretty even with the center forward and left wing. Definitely in those two positions. Not as good on the right, obviously. There was a period in time he was on the right. He's not as good on the right. for me, he's always going to be better. I think especially out wide. I think on the left he's so good. But if we look by season, this is where Rashford, to me, this is where there's question marks. This is why his value's a little down. He's doing all right this season. Again, it's just, if you look over the seasons, it's so inconsistent. You look at the Premier League campaign 23-24, 7 goals, 2 assists, 33 matches. You look at 2022 to 2023, 17 goals, 5 assists, 35 matches, right? Much better there. But then you go to the previous year, 25 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. Then you go to 2020, 11 goals, 9 assists, 37. Then you go to 2019, and this is where the Rashford hype was really, really starting to happen, right? In 2018 and 2019, 10 goals, 6 assists. The following season, 17-7 in 31 with 6-6 in the Champions League. So that's really where the hype with Rashford was starting. But yeah, if you break it down season by season, it's not been super impressive in the last couple of seasons. Specifically just the last season. I thought there was a little bit, I definitely thought in 2022, 2023, that campaign in the Prem and the Europa League, and that's what I'm saying. Rashford is so up and down in his career. That was a year where you saw Twitter, like everyone's like, yo, Rashford is back, Rashford is nasty. He was tearing it up that season. He was doing so good in the Europa League, and he was doing really well in the Prem, and that's where, it's not surprising to me. Maybe this inconsistency is coming from him being in this club. I think the system of United is not doing any player any justice. It's just not worked out. But we look at the transfer values over the years. I think there was moments in this 2019 period where we were seeing on Twitter, like, informal valuations that this guy was worth like 120 mil market value, even back here. And then, we had this peak where like he drops a lot in value because he's not doing as well that season. And then he starts doing really well again. And he's back up there at 25, and now he's not 26, he's 27. So he's 27 now. So he's at a funny part in his career where a lot of players right now, this 27 to 31 is maybe not necessarily the full like athletic prime, but it's their actual prime football ability. This is where we see a lot of footballers 26 to 31 to 32 just playing insane. So it's a part in his career where it makes sense. He's feeling like, hey, I'm not getting what I want out of this club. I want to go somewhere else. This is where it brings up the funny part of where is he going to go? Where is this guy going to go and make a difference? I think PSG, I don't know if they're going to be willing to pay the certain price for him. I will say this about PSG. I still think they're really struggling with a 9. I like Rashford more as a left wing, but statistically, he's done well as a 9 in his career. Barcola is a lock in that position. Barcola is one of the most premier replacements you could ever have. Is such an ease of transition from Mbappe to him. PSG leading League One. Look, PSG is a place I could see him. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a surprise, and I'm going to talk through this for a second. I think the Bundesliga would be very good to Rashford. The Bundesliga in the last year or two has really cemented itself back up there. And people can make arguments from, in my point of view, as it potentially being one of the best leagues, like in terms of top 2 league in the world. The teams that are in this league are doing so well in Europe in the last season or two, and it's some really exciting teams in this league. It's also a league that's going to really suit Rashford. It's a super attacking league. There's a couple teams in this league that I think would be large enough clubs that for him would be a good experience. I saw people earlier that were saying on Twitter, Dortmund. I don't like that. I think Bayern Munich would be a team that, for me, I'm looking at this team. I think they could be a really, really good fit for a Rashford, man. Super attacking team. And we talk about players out on the left right now. Like, Sané is not all that. Coman is in and out injury. Olise is out there on the right. You also have a situation at Bayern where you're going to have a link up with Kane. Musiala is fantastic. Bayern, to me, is a team that if they have the money to pay for him, and they're probably not going to want to overpay, he could be a really good fit on this team. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? What team you think Rashford's going to end up on? It looks like he's going to be gone next season. I mean, are there any teams even in the Prem that you guys think that he would be likely to go to? I don't even know where he would go in the Prem. I haven't even really thought about that. Would he end up in Italy? I don't know if I see Rashford in Italy, but we do see a lot of English players going to Italy. So maybe there's a team in Italy, that he's going to want to take part and have a challenge with. But it looks like he's there for a new challenge. What kind of challenge is this going to be? For me, it sounds like he's feeling like he's probably at the peak age of his career. He wants to leave the team, and he probably wants to be on a team that, frankly, is going to win more. That's my gauge on the situation. What do you guys think? United fans, how do you feel about this? Rashford leaving. What are your thoughts on it? And thanks for watching the video today, guys. See you in another one. Peace.